Welcome back to Biz Audio, and today we're joined by a true legend in Australian radio and media, Mark Hine.
Thanks, Max. I'm going to object to one thing. I don't like being called legend, although you can if you want to.
Perfect. Well, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's really been great. And we've been chatting quite a bit about trying to get me Ironman things, and so, yeah, it's really good and it's doing really well. I listen to to all sorts of ones, but the other day you did a breakdown of the ratings. I thought that was really great, and it's a great service. So keep going.
Over the years, you've had the chance to meet some major music artists. Who stands out the most in your memory and why?
Well, Courtney Love, that was pretty strange interview. I rolled up to the interview. It was at a hotel, and I was setting up all my gear on a table, and she was over doing a video interview with actually Phil O'Neill was doing the interview.
Ugly Phil.
Great guy. Yeah, Ugly Phil, great guy. And he was doing an interview with her, and she came back and she was all a bit angry and because she had a bit of a run-in with one of the record company executives. And I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. But about halfway through the interview, she's holding my hand and going, your voice is like sunshine in Malibu. And I was never allowed to ask anything about her time with Kurt Cobain. I'd been told that, but by that stage, she didn't care what I asked her. So I could ask her anything. And it was such a really lovely moment. And then she said to me, you've got to come backstage, hang out with me backstage after the show. It's going to be really great. And I've gone, oh, no, I do breakfast radio and I don't like to stay up too late at night. So I said, no. I went straight back to the station to edit the interview because I needed it for the next day. And Alex Dean, the content director at the station, said to me, he said, what did you say to Courtney Love? The management have just rung and said, nobody refuses to go backstage with Courtney Love when she invites them. I said, well, I'm very committed to my radio, or I'm an idiot, one of the two.
Four-time ACRA winner Peter Samios, welcome to Biz Audio.
And of course, you've worked alongside legends like the late John Laws and of course Jonesy and Amanda, as well as Richard Mercer. And what did you learn from each of them?
It's simple. I remember when I was doing work experience at Mix 106.5 with Nick McClure, she told me how every talent is different and they like things done in a different way. You know, she was saying certain announcers, they like their pens in a certain way and things like that. Now, with Jonesy and Amanda, like, what can I say? I was lucky enough to MC on stage with them at their $1 Million Riff breakfast while I was on the ARN street team. I was lucky enough to be their driver, taking them to one of their famous Jonesy and Amanda backyard jams on a Sunday. And they are just as funny, if not more funny off air as they are on air.
Wow.
And that taught me just how important it is to be yourself.
Radio Today journalist Sarah Patterson, welcome to Biz Audio.
And of course, speaking more about your radio journalism now, you've noticed breaking some major radio industry and audio industry stories. And how do these stories usually come to you, and where do you get your passion for writing?
That's a really good question. This Radio Today job, because that just fell out of the sky one day. I got a call from Steve Ahern, who is the publisher of both, as you would know, Radio Today and Radio Info, asking if I'd be interested in being a reporter for Radio Today. For me, I just loved it because it ticked every box, because it meant that I could, start writing stories that were more than 2 or 3 pages long, and I could have some real creative freedom. And look, there's lots of different sources. We have some great contacts, and I like to think in the 35 odd years that I have worked in radio, I've built up some amazing contacts along the way, and that certainly helps me with finding stories and chasing stories. A lot of it comes from emails and industry press releases as well, but the best ones, Max, are the ones that just come to you as tip-offs or something that you get to chase. And I really love the adrenaline rush of someone, perhaps just messaging me and saying, hey, I don't know if there's anything in this, but you might want to check this out. And there's a real rush when you know that you're the only one that's got it and you've got the exclusive, and yes, that never gets tired.
Content executive Mike Byrne, welcome to Biz Audio.
And what do you think separates a good content director from a great one?
I wouldn't know. I'm not a great one. I've worked with some great ones. Genuinely, I think it's having a really good set of ears, and that's not just ears for what makes great content,
on radio or in the audio sphere, it's about listening to people. And I think that's probably what makes a great content director, or a good content director, great. I think if you dig down into it a bit more granularly, I think the great content directors are good at the whole gamut of things that you need to be. So talent management's a really critical part of being a content director now. You need to be good at that. You need to know how to manage talent well, get the best out of them. I think strategy is a really critical part of being a great content director. The best content directors I've worked with are the ones who are really good strategically and understand where they sit in the market, where the holes are in the market, and what the future looks like.
CEO of Commercial Radio and Audio, Lizzie Young. Welcome to the Biz Audio Podcast.
And commercial radio still reaches millions of Australians weekly. In a world of infinite digital choice, why do you think live and local is still important and winning?
It is absolutely down to the content, the community, the engagement that on-air presenters have with their audience, and how well integrated into the communities they are. Last week we had our annual industry audio showcase called Heard, and we heard from Gabby and Dan from Ace Radio about, their local community in Victoria and the work that, they do in the community and just how connected they are to their listeners.
Yep.
And that for me just really demonstrated the point. So it really is just about that connection that people have, and the fact that, audio is a place that people go for information that they really need as well. So there's this reliance on it. So I think those things make it really sticky from an audience perspective. And that is why, to your point, we have really enormous numbers of listeners in commercial radio.
I'm here in the heart of Bega with Power FM's Brad. How are you, Brad?
I'm good. How are you, Max?
Not bad, not bad. And how are you finding this year in radio so far?
Well, we're 2 weeks in. The station hasn't caught fire, so I think we're doing pretty well. No, I think it's shaping up to be a good year. We got new people joining our team soon, so it's going to be a big year for Power FM and 2EC here on the South Coast.
That's great. What are you looking forward to the most in 2026?
Look, if I didn't say holidays, I'd be lying. No, I just a fresh start to the year. I'm on the breakfast show here, so I've got a co-host joining me soon. So looking forward to getting some fresh ideas out to our listeners and engaging with them and just seeing what new things we can come up with this year.
Thanks, Max. Your podcast is awesome as well. It's great. Keep it going. It's really good to have a specific radio podcast. And from such a young guy like yourself, it's the only way for you is up, I think. I'll hire you at the radio station. How about that?
Oh, thank you. I can do afternoons at some point.
We might have to kick off Jonesy and Amanda and Kyle and Jackie O, and we'll slot you in somewhere there.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll chat soon.